Friday. It's May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. The sound machine's out of power, so I can't play any Mexican fanfare songs like Doug would, I'm sure would appreciate. But anyway, I hope everyone's having a good Friday. Looking forward to the weekend. I'm going to be adding Doug in here in just a minute. We got some good content lined up today, including a comment on YouTube that I wanted to go into. But more importantly, just as importantly, this show is sponsored by Compliment, lovecompliment.com. Keep you healthy, keep you energetic, keep you upbeat. And Doug's just been at it on Instagram. He doesn't look like any of those things. He must not have had his
you're talking way too loud, Matt.
I noticed you were a little late signing into Slack this morning. I didn't see the green circle next to your name till a little later than usual. And I wondered what happened. It wasn't Cinco de Mayo. It's a good thing probably for you it wasn't Cinco de Mayo.
It's a good thing it wasn't Cinco de Mayo.
Bianca has called out Happy Cinco de Mayo, Doug's favorite day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it is. Although we had this before. Someone was talking about taco night or taco. Yeah, and I was like, well, they just probably call that night in the Doug house. Like every night is taco night. It's not a thing. And I think probably Cinco de Mayo, no different, right? You're typical night, you're having tacos, margaritas, corn chips, music, streamers. Like that's your typical dinner.
I mean, yeah, but that's I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but that's pretty typical. And sure enough, I did have tacos last night. So
okay, good.
I went ahead and pre-celebrated Cinco de Mayo with some tacos. Tacos last night. Yeah.
And so, we want to know the number. How many beers were consumed by you?
Okay, so
I was saying I'm guessing 4. I had said 3 yesterday, and then I said 3 to 5. I'm saying 4.
You're saying 4. So so for anyone who hasn't been following along, I did a 21-day dry challenge and extended it out a couple more days. So yesterday was my first day of planned drinking back. Thursdays are the night I hang out with a bunch of friends. We usually have band night. Last night band was canceled, so I went for a run, which I want to tell you about in a little bit.
All right.
And then I had a few minutes before I was meeting up with my friends, and they were all eating dinner at home. So I went and grabbed some tacos, and without even thinking, I'm ordering tacos. And at this place, I always get tacos and a $2 Tecate. And so without even thinking, I ordered a Tecate, and then I went and sat down at the bar and started sipping the Tecate. And I was like, that's when it dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute, this is my first beer back, a Tecate by myself. And I was so
Tecate's pretty good.
It's perfect for what it is, but I don't know. It just felt very anticlimactic to have that be my first beer back. And so I decided that one actually didn't count. And so then I met up with the guys, and I had a Hillman's IPA, and then I followed that up with something from Sierra Nevada, another like hazy Sierra Nevada, and both of those are pretty high gravity. So the number is 3. The number is 3. But I will say that it made a real big difference last night in my sleep. I don't know. I didn't sleep very well last night. I was quite groggy this morning, and I don't know if I can blame it exclusively on the beer, but it definitely contributed.
Yeah. Usually, in my experience, 3 drinks is enough to make the sleep disrupted for sure.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it did. So, okay, that's good. I mean, I think, that's a reason. 3 is a reasonable number. I probably should have guessed 3. 4 would be a lot.
4 would be a lot.
But okay, I'm glad you did that. Was it, did you notice anything about like the taste being different after having not had alcohol for a long time, or was it more just all the same?
No, it made me realize how much the athletic brewings do scratch an itch, right? They are good. I'm not trying to put that down at all, but it just made it very clear that it is missing the alcohol. It's just not the same.
No, it's not the same. It's not. You're right, but they're still good. Okay, good. Yeah, I've just noticed whenever I've gone on prolonged non-drinking things, when I come back, especially with red wine, it just tastes like, it's like my taste buds go back to being used to not having it. And it doesn't taste so good at first. It's like I have to acquire the taste. And it happens within, an hour. It's not like it's
Yeah.
a long process, but it's just always, I'm always struck. So I wonder if that's why how you realized that you were drinking again, because you were like, wow, because it just tastes different. But
no, I mean, no, I thought it tasted great. So
yeah, good. Of course.
Yeah,
Well, good. Tecate too. Dale Stevens says, love Tecate and Dos Equis and Pacifico. I found an interesting stat this morning in Morning Brew that I had no idea this was the case. Mexico apparently, first of all, they account for 30% of all the global beer exports, and they ship more than double the amount of beer as any other country. Which
wow.
is,
That's
crazy. I don't think of Mexico as a beer country, beer exporter. The punchline though is, or the kicker, I guess, is that 97% of those exports go to the United States. So it's not like Mexican beer is sought after all the world over.
You can get Coronas all over the place, especially any sort of tropical, like beachy place. Yeah, all over the world you can get Coronas.
So I read this stat and I was like, well, what is it about Mexican beer that people like so much? Because like I said, it's not like these are prized beers for the most part. I think people, for some reason, they're just associated with the beach vibe. I guess enough Americans have gone to Mexico. I mean, first of all, there's probably a lot of Mexican people there are a lot of people in the United States who are Mexican and drink the Mexican beer that they
are buying Mexican beer.
So certainly that's a lot of it. But I think enough Americans have gone on a Mexican resort vacation and drank the Mexican beer, and they just want to they recapture that festivity when they have it at home. I think that's probably also what largely goes on. I don't know if there's any other explanation. I'd love to hear it. Maybe people just, like you said,
I wonder. So part of it is like it's a total guess, right? InBev, I believe, owns Corona.
Okay.
Probably, so they're
probably,
or one of the big ones does. I think it's InBev. I'm gonna look it up. And so they have Anheuser-Busch, InBev, yeah. They have global distribution, right? And so if they're trying to push some sort of Mexican or Latin American, Central American, Hispanic beer, then it's probably going to be Corona because they have that global distribution. And I mean, that would be in the same way that like you can get Budweiser just about anywhere. You can that's just a guess. And some a place in maybe I don't know Guatemalan beer. Sorry. A Guatemalan beer that probably doesn't have that same level of distribution. All right, end of story. Keep going. My bad.
Okay. One more thing about Mexican beers that I always find interesting. A lot of them are technically Vienna lager style, and I think it's Austrian immigrants who started the Mexican brewing tradition. And a lot of them are, I don't know, I don't really like a lot of lagers, but I like Mexican beers, and I think that's the reason. They're a different style. They're not the Pilsner style. They're different. Anyway,
Sarah Slip says that Corona has an NA beer. Never heard of that before.
Yeah, okay. Neither have I. I could see that one being good in the same way that Heineken is good in their non-alcoholic form. Anyway,
Corona is my least favorite Mexican.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I think that's the one that's not a Vienna lager. That would be my guess. I don't know. All right, good. So that's Cinco de Mayo. By the way, I'm gonna have a piñata in my house tomorrow. An avocado. Well, this isn't known yet. It's an avocado-shaped piñata. It is not
known to your kids.
Not known to my daughter, whose birthday it is on a Sunday.
Oh, so she doesn't listen to the show anymore? Is that what you're?
She doesn't. Not at nighttime or anything. No, she has really a lot of sleep issues. She seems to inherit mine. She listens to this show called Nothing Much Happens, which is just put you to sleep. Just boring stories. The person reads the story twice, and it's just boring on purpose. And you just go to sleep, I guess. Anyway, she doesn't listen to this. I think she thought it got too boring after like the first month. She said the quality of our content dropped, and it became too low quality for her to listen to.
Fair enough.
But anyway, we have a piñata. And I don't know if you know this, Doug, but I'm terrified of piñatas accidents because I went to enough kid birthday parties that I just saw many brushes with death. Basically, a kid swinging an aluminum bat with a blindfold on. They hit the piñata a bunch of times, and eventually a little candy starts to leak out.
And all the other kids.
And everyone rushes in, and the person still has a blindfolded bat that they're swinging this bat, and they have no idea people are rushing in. It just seems like the most dangerous tradition in the world. Worse even than road biking.
I am with you. I don't like the piñata at kid birthday parties because it always happens and it stresses me out. And I'm always like the parent in the front being like, no.
Right, I know. It's like you can't. And I feel like you can't do that at someone else's party. Like they're responsible for the safety of that party, not you.
Yeah.
But it's like you just cringe. So if you're gonna do piñata, wiffle bat, which then takes forever to burst the thing open, or no blindfold, which is ruins the point. Or what we're doing, no rushing in to get the stuff. It's going to be evenly distributed. We're just bashing the piñata, and then the stuff comes out, and then it will be.
Yeah, you say that now, but as soon as those kids start seeing
they're going to be held back. They're going to be held back by ropes and security guards.
Okay, all right. You tie them all up, and then.
Yeah. The party will be at a local trampoline park. Another one of my danger tags.
I love a good trampoline park.
Yeah. I worry about neck breakage. Haven't experienced anything yet. So
this weekend, I mean this winter was the resurgence of trampoline parks in my life. We went a few times. Yeah, it was very fun.
Were you sore after you went?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So what about this run you did yesterday? I went for a zone 2 run. Took 20 minutes or so. It wasn't very long. But I figured a little bit better than nothing. Get back into it. Listen to a podcast. And it was fine. It was really good. So
yeah. So inspired by our discussions around longevity and what's his name?
Peter Attia.
Peter Attia. I did a VO2 max workout, one of my first in months, maybe a year. I don't know. Where I did a 10-minute like easy run, and then did 4 minutes as hard as I could up a hill, 4 minutes easy recovery back down. Repeated that 4 times, and then did a 10-minute easy run back to the car.
Nice. Good.
Yeah. And it hurt, man. It was so uncomfortable. Honestly, it hurt my lungs more than it hurt my legs.
Again?
So I found it was a long hill where it took me, I didn't even get to the top after 4 minutes of going as hard as I could. So
it's good. Good to have one of those.
I did a 10-minute easy run, about a mile. And then did 4 minutes as hard as I could up and turned around, 4 minutes recovery. And what I did actually was mark the spot that I made it to the first time, and then got back to that.
Right.
Right. So each interval got a little bit slower, maybe like 5 seconds slower. But man,
how many did you do? How many intervals?
4.
Okay.
So good. Four intervals, 4 breaks. And
yeah, that's a lot. Like two of those that you can do without too much problem. Once you get beyond that, it starts to feel like a chore for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, it wasn't really even the legs that hurt as much as the lungs. I mean, like I'd reached the top and I wanted to just like pass out kind of thing. It was tough.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the point. It didn't make me really excited to do another one though. No, it did not. No. But I'm going to keep this up for a little while anyway. See what happens. Mr. Jeffrey asked if it's road or trail. It was a 1 mile on trail as the warm up, and then it was road repeats.
Okay. Yeah, I like that kind of workout. It is tough, like you say, but I always feel like it's a pretty quick way to get that feeling. Yeah. And not so painful as like Tabata stuff where it's just like you just want to puke afterwards. So I do like that kind of workout. I haven't done one in quite a while, maybe a year. But yeah, good. Glad to hear it. Keep doing them. Hope other people will want to join in too. On that note, there was an interesting interesting comment on our YouTube video. So as most people know, we did a No Meat Athlete Radio episode on video, the same format. We are now doing all the No Meat Athlete Radio episodes that way, the ones that you and I do anyway. So we're doing them in this live fashion, which I think is better. I think it just different medium adds a different dimension for people who want to be part of that. But they're still going out on No Meat Athlete Radio. So you can go subscribe to that, No Meat Athlete Radio, if you're not already on there, or just get on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/No Meat Athlete, where you'll get Plant-Based Morning Show and No Meat Athlete Radio content. But that one was all fitness focused. We did it on Monday. It's up there on the YouTube channel. That one's actually getting a little bit of traction on YouTube, which is good. But we got a comment on there that I thought was very insightful from Marlery. I don't know if she's been around before on our stuff, but she says, first of all, she mentions Walter Longo, another longevity guy who I like, and he's all about low protein, which is so interesting that, one longevity expert could be all low protein, another very high protein. I tend to think the consensus is low protein, what most people are saying when it comes to longevity. So Tia is a bit of an exception there. But she said this great thing about the muscle mass, because in that we mentioned a lot of evidence suggesting that muscle mass is correlated and perhaps the cause of longevity. Well, she's questioning the cause part of it and says, don't know if you've been around anyone elderly on a steep decline, but being sick and hospitalized results in a lot of body weight loss, right? Of course it does. And that results in muscle loss. So we all know that. They come out of the hospital weak if they live through being in the ICU. So what we can sort of infer from this line of reasoning is not that the muscle mass causes you to, not get sick and not die, but rather that not having muscle mass is a symptom of the same thing that's causing you to die anyway, which is the being sick,
mm-hmm.
right? So that studies that then look at how soon do people who have very low muscle mass die compared to people who have very high muscle mass. It's also basically like saying, how soon do people who were very sick in the past, 2-year period, how soon do they die compared to someone who wasn't? So it's interesting, correlation causation thing here. And this is my problem with the Tia. I'd love to hear him respond to this, and probably he has. I just feel like he's so he'll dig really deep to point out these kinds of issues. Like, no, we shouldn't take this science at face value. We need to look deeper, like with the red meat being a cause of a cancer causer, right? A carcinogen. He talked about this. No, if you look past the surface, there's a lot of evidence that would say we probably can't trust this result just yet. But then with this one, it's I don't know. It's almost, and I don't know that he didn't dig deeper. Maybe this actually doesn't exist. Maybe these studies do control for this and it's a causation thing. I don't know. But I just feel like he kind of just glazes over the things that are sort of in support of high protein, eat animal products, etc. So I don't know. I'm trying to be fair here. I'd love, the chance to talk to him and have him respond to that stuff.
Seems like you're fading on Peter Tia.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I liked a lot about the book. I just I don't know. What I like most about him is when I think he's totally unbiased, and I just don't have that feeling now. So I don't know. I still do love his book. I thought it was very interesting. But anyway, great point there. It reminds me of about 10 years ago going around, and I was one of the reasons it was going around because I was forwarding it to everybody, was this study and several, I think, that showed that drinking 0 alcoholic drinks per day, that was associated with higher mortality rate than drinking 1, 2, or 3 alcoholic drinks per day. But then what I learned from Dr. Greger was the problem with that was a very similar thing. People who drink 0 alcoholic drinks per day, especially who are older, are those who are sick and are on doctor's orders not to ever drink any alcohol. That's who drinks 0 alcohol per day.
Oh.
Now, so do a lot of other people, but they make up a large amount of the people who drink 0 drinks. So
interesting. That
was biasing the study because people who would have 1 or 2 were people who hadn't yet been diagnosed with a big sickness. And so then it looks like people who drink 0 drinks are somehow are exposed to more danger, but it's just that they were already in danger.
Interesting.
Yep. So that stuff happens. Got to look deeper. But good comment there, Marlery. I enjoyed that.
Hey, before we get into the weather report, I want to give a quick update on Andrew Glaze and the Cocodonia 250.
All right. Give it.
Mentioned this yesterday. A guy I follow on Instagram, AM Glaze on Instagram, a vegan ultra runner, is running the 250-mile Cocodonia race. And he is at mile 220 now. He's slowed down significantly over the night, and has been here for at least a couple hours since I've checked last. But my guess is he's just napping before his final push for the 30 mile push through Phoenix into Flagstaff.
Wow.
Not Phoenix, Flagstaff.
So he's going to do the Rock and Roll Arizona Marathon for the last bit. Just knock that out.
There you go. Just knock it out. No problem.
I was thinking about this overnight. I don't know why. Maybe it was when I was awake at night, because I was also awake at night. And
did you have 4 beers, 3 beers?
No, I didn't. I did have a little bit of wine.
Mm-hmm.
I bet it was 2, full-size glasses. Not crazy. Third of the bottle. I've been sleeping pretty well, and last night I didn't. And I was really tired at bedtime, and I just went to bed at 10:15 instead of my usual 11 or 11:30. And I was like, I'm just feeling tired right now, so it must be that I actually am tired and I should just go to bed. But I think alcohol makes me artificially tired. I mean, of course it does, right? Everyone
Yeah.
knows that.
Right.
So I think I'm actually tired enough for bed, and I go to sleep, and then of course I wake up at 4 a.m, unable to sleep anymore, which always happens. So I don't know. I need to go to bed when I'm actually tired and do so without alcohol. And if I have alcohol, I need to adjust and say, nope, I feel tired, but I can't go to bed yet. I have to stay up. So I'm gonna see what happens there. Anyway, what I was saying is, as I was awake, I was thinking about it. I was like, this 250 miles, that's 10 marathons, right? More than, or just less than 10 marathons.
Yep.
A half marathon, less than 10 marathons. And you were saying 72 hours or so was the winning times. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was, I looked back this morning. I think it was like 68 or 69.
68. Okay. So that's like a 6.8 hour marathon pace. And like, there's plenty of people who run 6.8 hour marathons, right? Like that's not like just walking. That's
no.
That's you got to move to get done one in that time. It's not a fast marathon, but still, it's a marathon time. People get that time.
Yeah.
And these people are doing 10 of them at the same pace
on the trail over mountains.
That's insane. That's a crazy accomplishment.
That is a crazy accomplishment. Right.
Anyway, all right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. Good. So that's that. That's all our hodgepodge of stuff to start the show. Here's our weather report. I don't have any music today. Like I said, the sound machine is out of power. Daughter takes the computer and watches Mako Mermaids or whatever on it. So I have no power.
Should we sing? It's Friday. No, okay.
No, it's the weather report music that we don't get. We also don't get that.
Right. Okay.
But so we don't get that music. But anyway, here we go. Your plant-based morning show, Friday, Cinco de Mayo weather report. Michelle Obama taking on a new role as a founder of Pleasy or Pledzi. I don't know what it is. Nutrition, Plezi. All capitals except for the I, which is lowercase. Interesting. They're making beverages for kids. The first product, they're making food too, but the first product is this line of drinks. They're low sugar, nutrient dense, made from a fruit juice blend, which has about 75% less sugar compared to top brands of fruit juice and no added sugar. They're also adding in fiber and some minerals, potassium, magnesium, and zinc. And they come in 3 flavors. You can get them at Target and Walmart. 4-pack of 8-ounce drinks will cost you $4. And the companies say they want to meet the parents where they are at a time when kids consume 53 pounds of added sugar a year.
Oof.
So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Fruit juice is not a good thing for kids to be drinking. It's really like, it's not that it's so bad. It's just, I think that a lot of parents think it is healthy. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. So, and it's not. It's sugar. Yes, it has some extra vitamins and stuff than soda does, but like it's just so much sugar. And when you remove the fiber, it's basically added sugar. I know it's not technically, but they're adding some fiber back in. That's good. I mean, I don't know. This seems like a little good habit changer kind of thing. It's not the best, but it's better than.
Well, it's not a habit changer, right? I mean, if you're going to drink a fruit drink, it'd be better to drink one with 75% less sugar, right? And some added fiber and nutrients.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not a habit changer per se. I don't know. You're right. It's a realist. It's meeting people in the middle, right? It's like, say this isn't perfect, but it's something you can. It doesn't rely on too much willpower to make this switch. It just swap this in. So anyway, hopefully that works. And hopefully they eventually move beyond the fruit juice, but who knows?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm interested to see what kind of food they actually put together because they're. I mean, food is I think the bigger one, right? That they're going for.
I don't know. I didn't read that closely. I just found the fruit juice thing and moved on. Next up, Colorado's Meati Foods, which forever for me will be known as the thing that made Bianca puke all night after she ate it. It's mycelium based, which is the mushroom root microprotein. That the whole cut, pieces of vegan meat, basically. They've added to their distribution. It's no longer just Sprouts, which is where Bianca and I got it. I think. I mean, not together. I went to my Sprouts, and I think Bianca went to hers. But they're now in 260 Meijer supermarkets. Meijer. I don't know that supermarket. Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, and Wisconsin. So now they're in 29 states in total. Meati is, and by the end of 2023, they want to be everywhere. They want to be national omni-channel footprint by then. So there you go. Just approach it maybe with a little caution if you're worried about an allergy like Bianca might have. And finally, crucial, important, relevant info for the Plant-Based Morning Show. Ed Sheeran was found not to have stolen the song from Marvin Gaye. That was Thinking Out Loud. He was allegedly stole it from Let's Get It On. I think it was the chord progression they were saying was the problem. We went into a little bit of a musical departure, talking about that stuff. Anyway, he was found to be okay. And did you know he was in Game of Thrones?
I did not know that.
I didn't either. I don't watch that nerdy stuff. We disagree on a lot of things, Doug, but we're both not nerds about stuff. We don't do Star Wars. We don't do Game of Thrones. I don't think you do Lord of the Rings, do you?
No, don't. I mean, I've probably seen all three of them at some point, but no, not a Lord of the Rings guy, not a Game of Thrones guy.
Hobbit,
no,
me neither. Yeah, so we're both not nerds. You do like Catan games though, right?
I do like Catan a lot. I'm a board gamer. I do love a good board game.
Yeah, and I do a little bit of video games, so I guess we have that to balance each other out. But yeah, in general, we're not nerds. We're cool guys, as we said before.
The coolest.
Right.
Coolest of cool guys.
Definitely.
Hey, I saw that he announced before the verdict came in that if he was found guilty, he would quit music because he disagreed with the premise so much. Yeah.
Yeah. So at the end of that thing, he said it's a travesty that sort of thing's allowed to go to court at all. I mean, I don't know. It's like not at all like we know anything about the music industry. Although I do have a music industry minor 20 years ago. So
I know.
In that era, before iPods were out and before there was MP3s, I knew all about music and how it was distributed.
And I'm in a band, so I'm practically in the industry.
Right. but this one, we read the story and we said, I don't think a chord progression can be copyrighted. Like it's just not enough.
Yeah.
And we and songs don't sound like they have the same melody. I didn't listen to the mashup or whatever. But to me, I was like, yeah, like if that's wrong, then every single song in the world is copying off some other one. It wasn't like the melody was just lifted. So I don't know. It seems obvious to me, and I don't know. I think that's why he's saying this. That it's crazy that something like this would be allowed to go to court at all. But I don't know. Music industry experts, we are.
Yeah.
All right. So we've been talking about this one all week. We haven't gotten to it yet, but finally we will. It's tofu hacks. We got
tofu hacks.
Here's what I got: a tofu article, a tempeh article, and then a quick tater tots article that we'll hit probably.
Hitting those soybeans and the tots.
Yeah, right. I think all this vegan meat talk that we tend to do, even though recently I'm kind of against vegan meat. I think these soy products, I'm really getting back on board. Not back on board. I never really left, but I'm more on board than ever with the soy products. I just think they're good, healthy foods. They're good protein sources. If you care about protein, and I don't know, they're worth talking about. So anyway, tofu hacks. And also tofu is just really good. I really think tofu is a good food if you learn how to prepare it. Not some advanced way, but you just give it a bunch of tries. You figure out what works well for you. And last night I had banh mi sandwiches last night from America's Test Kitchen Vegan for Everybody cookbook. That uses tofu, which they said it pan fry it, put it in a little cornstarch and then pan fry. I don't like doing that. It's too much mess, and I don't like the oxidized oil from the high heat. So I prefer just to throw it in the air fryer. And so I did. I first tossed it in a little bit of olive oil, then the cornstarch dredging, then into the air fryer, and it just came out perfect, crispy, good. And that turns out to be one of the hacks here. But the main story in this from tastingtable.com is cut tofu skin into strips for chewy plant-based noodles. So
I'm gonna share this up so people can see what it looks like.
Okay, good.
There's a giant ad. There we go.
The hardest step here is getting the tofu skins, which, like I said, I don't really ever see those in stores, but apparently they're in Asian markets. Are they in the frozen section?
I don't know. I've never seen them. Never even heard of it.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. I thought it was a known thing. Tofu skins.
I mean, I guess maybe I've heard of it. It sounds kind of familiar, but I've never seen it.
Like Veg Fest people do it. Like the people who are cooking food at the Veg Fest. A lot of times it's like soul food and stuff, and they say like, I don't know, they just say the tofu skins are the best. They're like the chewiest parts and the good. I don't really know even what it is. Like where does it come from? Does it come on top of the water when they're making tofu? I'm not sure. But anyway, I think it's in the frozen section. I think you can get it like in sheets in the frozen section of the store.
Oh, in sheets. Okay.
I think so. And then what they say to do with it here, this is for the hack, is you get that stuff and then you basically julienne it into these very thin strips that are like noodles. They're not going to be as long as like a linguine or spaghetti noodle would be, but they're probably a third of that size. So you julienne, and then I don't think you even need to boil it or anything. Well, they say a quick blanch under boiling water is all you need to achieve the perfect texture and flavor.
Oh, wow.
Because tofu is already cooked when you buy it, so you don't need to cook it. And then you put it into soups, put it with a peanut sauce. I wondered if I can do it with pasta, right? Like it's not going to, I'm not pasta, with Italian sort of dishes. Like, can I put a marinara sauce on there and have tofu noodles? Or is that going to be weird?
It sounds kind of weird, but actually kind of not too, I mean, right. I would eat tofu in a sandwich with tomato sauce or something, like a meatball sandwich kind of thing.
Yeah. Right. You can see that working.
All right. We got a lot of comments about this tofu skin.
Oh yeah. Well, good.
All right.
Okay.
On Instagram, we'll start there. Let's see. Oregon Coast Mom says the tofu noodles are really good. They sell them at the store already made, and nothing but tofu. And it's nothing but tofu. You can get them at Safeway
or Albertsons.
Wow. I'm surprised over on YouTube. It looks like Aaron Riley says you can get them in the refrigerated section near the veggies at Asian markets. They're usually mixed in with the other soy products. And Marie says she's going to the Veg Fest in Jacksonville tomorrow. Maybe keep an eye out for some tofu skins.
Yeah, definitely. The person on Instagram, Oregon Coast Mom, says that they're in the like right where the tofu is, like the vegan stuff. I've never seen that, but I'm gonna start looking around for that because I would love to try this. They've got some other tips. Any more stuff here that we need to talk to or read?
No. I mean, there's several comments, right? Vietnamese market, people like them. Lots of fans of the tofu skin.
Like okay, well we're behind here then because I just have never made tofu skins at home.
I know.
But they've got some other hacks on the site, and I actually think they're pretty good ones. This is not a vegan site. This is just a food site. So hopefully they would know their food. This is like actually a different article, I think. They say always press the tofu with a weight. Doug, you have questioned the need for a tofu press. But then we realized that was because you only had at one time. It probably isn't even sold anymore. Someone sent this a long time ago. So you got to get the Tofu Express is the one to get. It has a spring. It's simple. It's quick. Doesn't take up a lot of room. Much better than a stack of pots and things. So I think that's a must-have. Add cornstarch for a crunch. That's our next tip. And I did exactly that yesterday. What I just never knew is how much better that will make air-fried tofu. It really, like the air-fried tofu it comes out, it hardens for sure, but it doesn't get like crispy. It's just a little harder and rubbery. The cornstarch really made it like crunchy, the way it's kind of what you're looking for. So that's a great move. I first tossed it in oil. I don't know if you need to do that to make it work, but I wanted a little extra fat in there. Freeze and thaw the tofu for a spongier consistency. Do we want a spongier consistency? I don't know. That doesn't seem like a great thing.
Some Thai restaurants will have big chunks of tofu that are really spongy.
That is spongy. You're right.
I don't know that I really like that, but that is definitely an intention. I mean, they're definitely going for something there, but that's not usually my favorite.
Yeah. I always sort of, when I heard this tip before, I thought the freezing of the tofu, it just sort of makes a better texture. It makes it more firm and less kind of melt in your mouth, which isn't always desirable. But I guess this is to make it more spongy. And I don't know. I don't think I would really do that very much.
Do you freeze it after you press it or before you press it? Like, do you get all the water out first?
I'm pretty sure you just freeze it right away. And
in the container?
All the water's out. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I've done this before. I tried it once from a Plant U recipe, and I forget what the instructions were. But anyway.
Mr. Jeffrey, our food industry specialist, among other specialists, says that he's never pressed tofu at home or in the industry. Not saying it's right, but I have.
Wow.
I have.
It's a hot take. Okay. I mean, I have no idea. I will say I've kind of wondered that. Like I've never side by side tested it, but I've always wondered would you really notice a dramatic difference side by side? It just seems like the lore is that you just have to press it. It's how you get the better texture. Then you get it to soak in flavors and not already be saturated with water. But I don't know.
We're getting all kinds of tips here. All right, so Mr. Jeffrey continues to say, I don't know if spongy is the right word, but freezing makes it more meaty. Makes a more meaty texture. You aren't supposed to press it if you freeze it. But then Erin follows that up with, she likes to press, freeze, thaw, and then press again.
Wow, it's a big process.
Yeah, I always freeze Bianca. I always freeze my leftover tofu when I don't use it. Time for the recipe. Yeah. Lots of good.
And that's good because it will go bad within 2 to 3 days, according to this article. I've also heard you should pour water you should store it in water if you're going to be storing it for any amount of time. Not frozen. So that's that. Choose the appropriate type of tofu. I mean, it's kind of obvious, right? Silken's not the right thing for most uses. Honestly, I feel like they should have 2 kinds of tofu. There should be the soft kind, and there should be the firm as you possibly can get it kind. I don't understand who wants the middle ground. And you don't really see it very much. You feel like you always see extra firm. It's like everybody calls for that. And then finally, this is just a shocking good one. Marinate tofu overnight for a deeper flavor. Who would have thought you could marinate something and make it taste better? But yeah, you can do that with tofu too. And they recommend some things. None of that's not. Check the expiration date because it can go bad eventually, 3 to 4 months. That's if it's unopened. And then it's not about texture; it's about flavor. So they say, if you're gonna make a mock bacon recipe, tell your friends that it's not bacon. Say it's smoky baked tofu, because if you give the wrong expectation, this is the problem the veggie burgers have sometimes. Treat it as its own dish, not like something else, and maybe you have more success. Integrate or substitute tofu. I don't really know what that means, so I'm not going to read that one. Try working with raw tofu in cold salads. You ever do this, Doug? Ever eat raw tofu?
Yeah.
It's not even raw. I just mean,
I do.
Yeah, I never do that, ever.
My kids do it all the time, like every day, probably. Eat a couple cubes of raw tofu.
How do they get it? You just have it in the fridge waiting for them?
Yeah, I mean, we'll like open up a pack every other day, probably. Every 3 days, and just kind of cube up a little bit. They eat it sometimes. Sometimes a little like salad dressing dip or something like that in there. And sometimes not. Sometimes just straight up raw tofu. Yeah, which isn't all that appealing to me, but
no, it's a healthy snack though. All right, then don't discount the desserts. I guess you could make, I don't know, flan or something. Actually, no, they don't mention flan. Anyway, no one wants to make tofu desserts. And then tofu isn't the best substitute for every recipe. Appreciate tofu. I mean, they're just reaching now. The first few were good. We don't need these last few tips. So that is that. Anything else about tofu? I'm surprised how many people are commenting on tofu.
Yeah, people love their tofu. It's good.
They do. All right, on to the tempeh, Doug. This is food you've been kind of trying to popularize, I'd say, recently. People hate on tempeh for the most part. I think even vegans, you find a lot of them who say, no, I just don't like tempeh. Not doing that. So Veg News, this is, it says, what is tempeh? Here's how to cook with the popular protein-packed Indonesian ingredient. Let's not read about what it is. Let's just talk about how to cook with it. Most people think it's healthier than tofu. From what I've heard, you get the fermented food benefit. It's more of a whole food because you see those beans in it. So that's a good thing. Veg News says deep frying is the way to do it. They say deep frying tempeh amplifies its prize.
Then it will definitely be healthier than tofu.
And savory meatiness. I mean, I definitely think when I think of like times I've had tempeh where it was like, this is really good. It has been deep fried. Like at Rosetta's Kitchen in Asheville. I don't know, that with like a peanut buttery kind of sauce. It's just really good. But I've never tried to deep fry it at home. If I'm getting out the deep frying, apparatus, which is just a pan and a whole lot of oil, I'm surely not making tempeh. I'm making something good, like potato donuts or something, or beignets, something good.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I'm not going to be doing this because I don't have a deep fryer. But they don't mention the steaming idea, the tip everyone seems to give. And if you steam it for 10 minutes first or so, you get rid of this bitter flavor, and then you cook with it however you plan to. Anyway, so they don't give more tips than that. They just give some recipes. But I'm just curious, Doug, which of these sound like something you'd make or would want?
I went through this list. Let me just say, and they all look pretty good. My favorite way to eat tofu, tempeh, and we ate a lot of tempeh. Not when I say a lot, I say maybe once once a week, I would say. We eat tempeh.
That's a lot. I'd call that a lot.
Is just lightly pan fried in a skillet and then marinated, sauced up. You got to sauce it up somehow.
So you don't marinate it. You sauce it. You sauce it afterwards.
Okay. Afterwards, yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you don't sauce it, if you don't do something to it, and this is probably why people don't like it, it just doesn't come out very good. It just tastes. It has its own unique flavor that I don't think most people really like. But with the sauce, it makes it better. So they got vegan smoky tempeh peanut satay. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it looks delicious. Should I pull this up? You think is this worth it?
You can pull it up. There's a couple here, so we'll run down the list, and then we'll quickly hit the tater tots. All right. So that's that one. Beefy vegan tempeh and broccoli. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'd rather have tofu and broccoli. I feel like that's just going to be closer to a beefy vibe. I would just use that, but whatever. I mean, I get why you want to use this. Smoky vegan tempeh mushroom and potato breakfast skillet. I think that's kind of a good idea. Tempeh for breakfast.
That looks pretty good, right? It looks like a hash,
Right. And we had plenty of tofu scrambles.
Right.
But I wonder if tempeh might actually be better than tofu in the morning because it's not going to be as soft and eggy as tofu gets.
Yeah.
Like. All right, and then miso mustard tempeh with roasted baby bok choy. I would say this is a very typical type of tempeh recipe where it looks like it's lightly fried. You get some bok choy with it. You put some miso mustard on there. I don't know. Just all the usual suspects involved in that recipe. Vegan pumpkin sage.
Do you cook bok choy very much?
Only if a recipe calls for it. Not that much, but sometimes. Why do you?
No, I mean I don't dislike it, but I just don't ever think about it. Really.
Yeah, if you don't get baby bok choy, if you just get a regular one, you end up with a huge amount of the matter is the big like white hard part. I don't know compared to the leaves. Yeah, and I don't really know what to do with all that. So the baby bok choy seems to be the better choice. It's greener, more tender, just what we get more often. But it's expensive. It's not cheap to get that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Number 5, vegan pumpkin sage pasta with blackened tempeh. This to me seems weird. I don't know why, but I don't think a pumpkin sage going well with like a blackened flavored thing. Right? Pumpkin sage is delicate, sweet. Blackened is heavily spiced and charred. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like to see what Mr. Jeffrey thinks. He's a chef. Do these flavors work?
This is the least appealing to me so far.
Yeah, I just don't like cooking with pumpkin or sweet potato or butternut squash to me. I just don't like those sweet flavors. And number 6, vegan sweet potato salad with tempeh and maple mustard dressing. I don't know. Tempeh on salad doesn't sound too good. They say add cubes of baked tempeh for extra protein and texture. That doesn't seem so good. And then 7, finally, tempeh bacon and asparagus in a lemon garlic sauce, violating the rule of the previous post of calling this bacon instead of calling it tempeh, smoky tempeh or something like that. So a little bit of a controversial move there on Veg News' part. Yeah, seems all right. I'd enjoy that.
Yeah. I think that they started out stronger than these last ones. Salad doesn't look bad though. I would eat that. Not as like my main meal, maybe, but looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean the arugula looks good. I don't know about the other stuff in it. Anyway,
yeah, you're not a sweet potato guy.
No, I'm really not. Okay, let's get to the main event. What we came for? We came here. This is from eatthis.com, our favorite website. 5 fast food restaurants that serve the best tater tots. We'll read this and then we'll get out of here for the weekend. The humble tater tot. Well, everyone calls this stuff the humble thing now. It's just I'm kind of tired of it. The humble potato, the humble banana, the humble lentil, as Doug says. Let's stop calling the foods humble. I mean,
they're all like humble food. Potato has long. The potato has long been the humble food of choice, right? I mean, people have called it that for a long time, right?
It's humble because what? It's cheap and it's plentiful.
Yeah,
there's a lot of foods that are humble if we want to call them that.
That's true.
So I'm done calling foods humble. All right, Smash Burger. No, not at all. Smash Burger, number 1. I don't know if these are in order.
Hold on, are these in order? 5 fast food restaurants that serve the best tater tots.
Usually, if they do things in order on this site, they count them down. Like starts with 5 and goes down to 1. So I don't think this is in order. I think this is just 5 good ones.
I don't know Smash Burger. Do you know Smash Burger?
Don't know Smash Burger. I know of it, heard of it, but I don't think I've ever been. Sonic Drive-In. These look like a very greasy tot in the picture. And that's the kind that I typically steer away from. just because I don't like how I feel after I eat them. Sonics are everywhere though, Doug. There's one in Asheville.
Sonics are everywhere.
You can drop by and get them. Have you ever stopped by for some Tots? Just cruise through there?
No, honestly, these do not look appealing to me at all.
No.
And I'm a Tot lover. I don't know. They look overcooked, over greasy, like half burnt. I don't know. They look like the kind that would make your stomach hurt.
Yeah. Taco time. You know Taco time?
I don't. No. And see, these don't look good to me either. They look undercooked.
But they look like school lunch Tots.
Yeah, right?
Or like the ones you made at home. Like I imagine that they look. This place refers to their Tots as Mexi fries, Doug. So here we go. This is yet another, now the explanation for why you like tater tots so much.
They're
Mexican fries. According to Taco Time. So yeah, I don't know about that. Domino's loaded tots. So you have to get them loaded. Or maybe you can get it without, but then you're probably paying like $8 for a little thing of loaded tots. It looks like it has ranch dressing all over it. So I'm not interested in that. Dunkin', this seems a good one. But they're not, well, okay.
They're not tots.
They're hash browns. Right.
Yeah.
And can't you get these same type of things somewhere else? It doesn't Burger King, didn't they used to sell? Or maybe they don't now, but.
Like smash tots?
Yeah. But I mean, it's the same thing, right? Isn't that a tater tot?
Yeah, it's a hash brown. I mean, I guess it's the same thing.
Well, I thought you might have an opinion on that. I mean, you're a tater tot guy. Is this the same thing? Or is this like the shape totally messes it up for you and it's not?
Oh, I mean, definitely messes it up. I'm going to lean in hard on the messes it up. That's not a tot. That's a hash brown. And there's no debating.
So I don't know when I've had these, but I have. I don't know if it was in my vegetarian days.
You've had the Dunkin' ones?
Yeah. I don't know if they're vegan, or maybe I'm thinking of the whatever I imagine, the Burger King or Hardee's or somebody had these before. They definitely have this flavor to them. It's garlic, parsley, and sage is in the Dunkin' ones. I really think I've had the Dunkin' ones. I don't know when I would have, because I would definitely be wondering if they're vegan or not. They probably are, but I don't know. It says, but anyway, I don't know. To me, those seasonings really don't do a good thing to the tater tots. They just, much as I'm not that huge of a fan, to me, salt and fried goodness is all you need. You don't need herbs in there.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah,
a true potato tot. You gotta elevate the humble potato in a way that makes it shine. You know, I mean, you don't need to add all this flavoring. The humble potato.
You're speaking my language now. That's how I feel about the humble pizza. You don't need to put toppings on. Just have a humble pizza. I mean, humble bread or humble crust, humble sauce with a humble tomato in it, a little humble vegan cheese or not, a little humble basil, drizzle of humble oil on there, crushed red humble pepper, and you're perfect. You don't need any mushrooms or these fancy highfalutin foods, onions, vegan sausage. You don't need that.
Well, agree to disagree there. But I think with the tater tots, I don't need them loaded. I don't need them with a bunch of seasoning. I just want a good old tot. Just good old fried potato. Dip it in a little sauce. Good to go. A little salt, of course, on there.
Yeah.
Good to go. Bianca. Go ahead.
I just don't know. I always say how I don't feel good after I eat tater tots. But I can't imagine, especially if I ate loaded tater tots, tater tots, how that would. I mean, I think you'd want to puke. You'd want to do what Bianca did after she ate Meati.
She says that the Sonic Tots are great.
Wow. Okay.
So maybe I'll have to give them a try.
I would imagine they're cooked in the same fryer as the other things are there at Sonic, which is fine. I'm not opposed to that. But just be aware probably if you're going to stop by Sonic for some tots. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever do that, but maybe in a pinch, maybe in the right day when I'm just like dying for some sort of food and I drive by a Sonic, maybe I'll do it.
I bet that Sonic does not have much vegan.
No, of course not. All those icy drinks, though, they have all those. I think they're probably
They do have all those. 7 options at a Sonic drive-thru in 2022. This is bonus content here. Fries.
This is pure bonus
tots.
Content. This is like
fries,
if we did a Patreon, this would be the type of content you'd get.
We should totally do that. Oh my god, that's great. All right, so fries, tots, twisty pretzel without the cheese, and then condiments, sauces, drinks. That's it. Fries and tots and a twisty pretzel.
So they count sauces.
Not even the onion rings. They crossed it out. In 2021, they were vegan, but not in 2022.
So does it say those things are fried in the same oil? Do they give that little warning?
I don't know. I'm just looking at headlines here. Let me look.
It doesn't matter. I kind of figured a lot of people get up in arms about that. Bianca agrees that the hash browns are just not the same. The circumference, something wrong with that. It's the wrong type of symmetry or something. You need.
Well, you need to be able to eat the whole thing at once. Like you don't take a bite of a tater tot, right? You put the whole thing.
Yeah, right. I think that's a good point. Those little discs, they don't really fit in your mouth quite right.
No. Oh wait, according to Sonic drive-thru employees, fries and tots are cooked in a separate fryer than the meat.
Oh, okay. Wow, look at that.
This is a rule across the company, so should not be an issue. Wow, that's great.
It's funny, as much as I don't let that stop me, like I just don't worry about that. That comes out of that personal purity thing. Like you're not saving any animals by that choice. You're just having your own personal thing. I don't let it stop me, but that just makes it more appealing, right? It has a certain level of grossness that it is cooked in the animal oil. So if I can get it clean, like that. So that makes me more likely that I'll stop by a Sonic.
I'm going to swing by a Sonic and get some fries and tots and condiments today.
You won't do it tonight on your way out to before
on my way to Cinco de Mayo. Yeah. Yeah, no problem.
I'd love to hear about it if you do. All right. Well, that's good. Very nice. Good ending to the show. I enjoyed this. Hope everyone else did as well. And we'll be back Monday. Not a holiday or anything that I know of, right? Must be one coming up soon. Memorial Day. That's
Memorial Day
coming around the corner. But no, we'll be back as scheduled on Monday. Again, check out our YouTube. We're putting a lot of effort into that. We're just, I don't know, keep dressing it up with new stuff. And we're going to put out little videos. We're going to put out short weather report onlys, just sort of see how people like those little clips, etc. So go over there, like it, subscribe to it, please. Comment on things, hit the bell to get the notifications. All that stuff is really helpful to us. And also we'll get you more in touch with the show. So please do that if you want to support. And otherwise, I hope everyone enjoys their Cinco de Mayo. Be safe if you're going to be out there drinking margaritas. Doug, do you drink margaritas? Aaron was asking me that today, and I said, I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
I don't hear you talk about it too much. Frozen or
no,
rocks?
On the rock.
Of course, rocks, yeah. And you put a salt on the rim?
I do salt half of the rim.
Oh, okay.
Get a little bit when you want it, but not too much.
I definitely do the whole rim of salt, but I also, my teeth don't respond well to margaritas. So
don't respond well to what?
Margaritas. Sour sweet combination. My teeth just they hurt for days. Same with some apples, as I've said before. So anyway, I like a good margarita though. They're very good. All right. Anyway, so yeah, be careful, have fun, but do all that, live it up, and we'll be back on Monday.
All right, sounds great, everybody.